Welcome to Fun Factory Gaming.
Sound for years.
The extraction shooter genre has been trying for some years to take over the position left by battle royales as the next big multiplayer phenomenon. But this promise has not yet been fulfilled, especially on consoles, where titles like Escape from Tarkov never arrived.
Paid attention.
Arc Raiders emerged precisely to fill this void, bringing to the genre the treatment of a AAA production, with style, ambition, and its own identity. Analyzing strictly multiplayer games is a complicated task. Unlike offline experiences where there is a more defined path, online games depend entirely on the dynamics between players. Each match is a space where fun and frustration alternate depending on decisions, luck, and skill. But before diving into Arc Raiders, it's worth explaining what an extraction shooter is. In this subgenre, each player is dropped into a shared map, usually in different zones. They face enemies controlled by artificial intelligence, and also other human players. The objective is to explore the environment, collect valuable items, and most importantly, extract from the map with the loot intact. If you die before escaping, everything is lost, except the accumulated experience. This structure creates constant tension. Every encounter with another player becomes a moral dilemma. Cooperate or eliminate. The line between allies and enemies is thin, and any hesitation can be costly. This uncertainty is what makes the genre so engaging, a balance between greed and survival, between trust and betrayal. The story in Arc Raiders serves as a backdrop, providing enough context for the player's actions, and that's enough to give meaning to the journey. In the game's universe, robots have taken over the Earth's surface, forcing humanity to take refuge underground. This simple but effective premise explains the player's routine. Each match represents an expedition to the surface in search of supplies and equipment that sustain subterranean life. Each piece of scrap recovered can be used to upgrade workbenches, create new items, and strengthen the character for the next incursion. The context also brings the enemies to life. Although they possess simple robotic visuals, the brutality of their attacks makes them genuinely menacing, serving as a visual and mechanical reminder of why human society needed to hide. Furthermore, the setting reinforces the game's unique aesthetic. Everything in Arc Raiders overflows with style, the retro-futuristic visuals, the retro-punk industrial-inspired clothing, and the pulsating soundtrack created distinctive identity within the genre. The art direction combines nostalgia and innovation, resulting in a world that feels both old and new at the same time. The NPCs are more than just vendors. They also offer missions, often basic ones like eliminate a robot with an incendiary grenade, but which give immediate purpose to each expedition. Some of these tasks, however, reveal fragments of history and help build a broader understanding of what remains of humanity. In a game where everything can be lost, combat needs to be precise enough to balance risk and reward. Deciding to engage another player is a strategic choice. More than worrying about the enemy, it's necessary to consider the environment, as each shot can attract the machines, which in seconds can transform a tense duel into a massacre. At every moment, the player weighs terrain, distance, ammunition, and weaponry, before asking themselves, is it worth fighting? Even though it's fun and intense, combat often doesn't justify the risk. When everything you've achieved in a round is at stake, each exchange of gunfire carries a psychological weight typical of the genre. The best approach, almost always, is to attack first or avoid confrontation altogether, taking advantage of the surrounding chaos. But inevitably, you're not always the hunter. Most of the time, the player is the prey, and when that happens, the defense system is fair, allowing you to survive long-range shots with a full shield, recover, and even plan a counteroffensive. Up close, the story changes, demanding reflexes and precision that define the outcome. One mistake, and everything you've gained can disappear. Against machines, the approach is different. Each type demands a specific behavior. Drones relentlessly pursue, and wasting ammunition on them is often a death sentence. Facing larger enemies, on the other hand, is almost always a suicidal act, since stamina is rarely enough to escape. The brutality of the machines can be a constant reminder that Arc Raiders is a game about survival, but it also creates unexpected opportunities for solidarity. On the Blue Gate map, where enemy density is particularly high, it's common to see players instinctively helping each other in the face of danger. This spontaneous, often silent cooperation stems less from empathy and more from necessity in such a hostile world. Surviving is easier as a group. These moments of forced unity are among the best in the game. Facing machines alongside strangers, without knowing if they will be allies or traitors, generates a tension that few shooters manage to reproduce. Every gesture of cover carries a palpable distrust. At any moment, a partner might decide that their backpack full of loot is worth more than the partnership you built amidst the chaos. And when betrayal comes seconds before extraction, the frustration is genuine, but also inevitable. It's the price of playing a game that understands the unpredictable nature of human trust. The game offers a cooperative mode for up to 3 players, making the experience more coordinated, but no less chaotic. Squad-to-squad confrontations are long and unpredictable, with shootouts that quickly escalate from tactical to desperate. Even with allies, the title never lets the player completely relax. The surface remains a field where every step could be the last, whether by a mechanical enemy or a human decision. The experience in Arc Raiders is inevitably personal. No 2 rounds are alike, and the game shapes itself according to the player's intentions. What I can describe here is how the system reacts to decisions, and how, even without a script, it creates spontaneous stories worthy of a good single-player game. Before each incursion, I set a goal. Something simple that serves as a guide so I don't get frustrated if everything goes wrong. On the Blue Gate map, for example, I went down to the surface just to collect fruit and evolve my pet at the base. I chose the free loadout, a random combination of equipment, with no risk of losing valuable items. In the first few minutes, I see another player fleeing from a drone. Without thinking much, I decide to help him. He survives and leaves without saying anything. I continue on my way. Further ahead, I find another player. I make a gesture of truce, and he reciprocates. Each of us goes our own way, in silence, aware that the pact wouldn't last long if the loot was good enough. After collecting the resources I was looking for, I'm ambushed. A tense and direct confrontation ensues until the machines arrive. Luckily, they focus on my enemy. I barely escape with low ammunition and short of breath. On the map, I mark the nearest extraction point and run there. I take cover in a nearby house while I hear gunshots on the horizon. 2 other players appear, and instinct takes over. We open fire together on the machines surrounding the point. When all seems lost, we manage to extract. The tension doesn't dissipate. Neither of us fully trusts that the other wouldn't pull the trigger if they had more time. Each match is an emergent narrative built on the balance between greed and survival. Frustration is frequent. Ultimately, each round is a story, sometimes tragic, sometimes heroic, but always unpredictable. The experience is more engaging on the surface than underground. While the confrontations and extractions create genuine tension, resource management at the base lacks a clearer purpose. After a few successful raids, I realized my inventory was full of items whose usefulness seemed dubious. It's possible to extend it, but even then it quickly fills up again, and the feeling is one of fighting for scrap, accumulating materials without a real sense of progress. Building workbenches, crafting weapons, and upgrading equipment are functional mechanics, but without much depth. When the novelty wears off, the looting and storing cycle begins to lose its appeal. The game then depends exclusively on the player's personal motivation to maintain the pace. The quests help to alleviate this feeling, offering straightforward objectives that guide each incursion, even though they are almost always simple tasks, such as eliminating a specific enemy or using a certain type of grenade. They function more as reminders than as actual narrative motivations. The XP gain, although slow, effectively serves its purpose of progression, improving the character with each skill point spent. The cosmetic tokens serve as an additional incentive, even if only to unlock different looks. Ultimately, Arc Raiders is a game about effort and reward, but between the tension on the surface and the bureaucracy underground, it's easy to feel that the balance leans more towards work than pleasure.
You might get your fight.
Arc Raiders is an ambitious and stylish experience that perfectly captures the tension and unpredictability of the extraction genre. The retro-futuristic atmosphere, pulsating sound design, and moments of improvised cooperation build matches full of unique stories, where each successful extraction feels like a personal victory.
Oh shit, yeah.
When the game works, it's immersive, rewarding, and visually distinct within the genre. However, the euphoria of extraction and the tension of combat contrast sharply with the uninteresting bureaucracy of the underground base.
Yeah.
The loot and store cycle quickly becomes a fight for scrap, where the player loses a sense of progress.
I lost him.
Behind the rock here.
Oh, up there. You move fast.
Ah!
That could be another one. That's another one. Yeah.
Oh, the Adamar's going right at him.
Oh shit.
He's up top right there. Up there. He's right behind that rock.
Yeah, it's good. Just go to sniper. Be careful there.
Yeah, that's nice.
Sorry, two of them.
Yo.
Watch that. I wouldn't peek
Yeah,
at him.
sniper.
It's a title that fascinates with its form and tension, but it needs to deepen its reward loop and sense of purpose to retain the community in the long term.
Yeah, better. Like in Ant, better rotate.
Yeah, but they got me pinned in here.
And that's the end of this video. If you enjoyed my work, please show your love by giving it a like and considering subscribing. As always, thank you for your support.
We're coming around.
Yeah, good rotation there. Good rotation. Yeah.
Oh shit. That's what happens when you play Rambo.
You went straight to the